So welcome everybody to this latest video on 162 Maths, and in this video we'll be going over the GCSE Maths practice paper of 2023 Foundation Set 4 Paper 1, which is a non-calculated paper. Now as always, I'll include a question breakdown in the description below so you can see which question refers to which topic. So let's get started on this practice paper 2023 Foundation Set 4 Paper 1, which is a non-calculated paper. So looking at question 1, it says 2 plus y equals 8 and we need to find the value of y. So again, all we need to do here when solving equations is just get rid of everything, so we're left with the letter. So here we've got to do 8 take away 2, which is 6. For b, we want to get rid of the 4, and the 4 is multiplying, so we do the opposite of dividing by 4, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. Then with C, here we're dividing by 3, so the opposite would be to multiply by 3. So here we've got x equals 10 times 3, which is 30. Then for question 2, it says write down one factor of 10. So you can either write 1, 2, 5, or 10. So any of those, but make sure that you're only writing 1, not all 4. Then for question 3a, it says work out a quarter of 44. So we just need to do 44 divided by 4. Or you could write it as a fraction, but either way, what you should have an answer is 11. Then moving on to question 3b, it says work out a tenth of 78. So here we just got to do 1/10 times 78, which is 78 over 10. So again, you can either do any which way you want, or 78 divided by 10. So here we just move the decimal point one place to the left, giving us our final answer of 7.8. So moving on to question 4, it says in a bag of coins there are 20 coins is a total of £2.70 altogether, and there are no £1 or £2 coins. Half of the coins are 10 pence. Work out one possible set of the coins. So let's have a look at what we know. So we know that there are 20 coins altogether, and we know that the total sum is £2.70. and there are no £1 or £2 coins, and we also have told that half of the coins are 10p. So half of 20 equals 10, so 10p times 10 equals £1. So that means that we need to work out 10 coins that add up to £1.70, and we can't use £2 coin, obviously we can't use a £1 coin, and we can't use a 10p coin, and we've got to make sure that we've got 10 coins. So a possible answer is 5 20p coins, which gives us £1. So then I've just got 5 coins to make 70 pence, in which I've got 50 pence, and then 5 pence, 5 pence, 5 pence, and 5 pence. So going in to complete the table, we've got 10p coins, in which we've got 10 of those, 20p coins, in which we've got 5 of those, we've got a 50p coin, and we've got 1 of those, and we've got 4 5p coins. Then moving on to question 5, it says here is how scores in a quiz are worked out. The correct answer is worth 5 points. No answer is worth 0 points, and an incorrect answer is worth 2 points. It says team A answers some questions. They give 6 correct answers and 2 incorrect answers. How many points do they score on these questions? Well, 6 correct answers, well, we need to multiply that by 5. And we've got 2 incorrect answers, so I need to add 2 lots of -2. So if I work out the brackets, I get 30 plus -4. And plus and a minus become a minus. So 30 take away 4 is 26. It then says team B scored 12 points on the first 10 questions to complete the table. So here, if we know that they've got 12 points, so here in terms of correct answers, we can go for 4, which adds up to a total of 20 points. We can go for 2 that they didn't attempt, and then 4 incorrect answers, which gives them a total of -8, and 20 minus 8 equals 12. Then moving on to question 6, it says here are scores of 10 students in 2 tests, and it says what is the median for test A. So the first thing we need to make sure that we're doing is make sure that all the numbers are in order, and then we want to pick the middle number. Now in terms of the middle number, it's basically going to be between 9 and 10, and the number that's between 9 and 10 is 9.5. It then says plot the scores on the scatter graph. So all we need to then do is plot those coordinates. So if I just zoom out and hope that doesn't reset. So the scores that the first 5 are done. So the ones that I need to plot are going to be these ones here. So carefully, we're using test A, which is going up. So the first one is 10.5, so that's going to be there. The next one is 11.18, which is there. Then we're going for 12.17, which is there. Then we're going for 13 and 20, which is there. And then 15 and 14, which is roughly about there. For question 6c, it says the data for one of the students on test B seems unusual. Give on the scatter graph, put a circle around the point that represents this student. Give a reason for your choice. So what we need to do, if we go back to the table, we're looking for which one of these stands out the most. And the one that stands out the most is this point here. And the reason for that is because if I was to draw a line of best fit, then it's probably going to look something like that. And you can see that this point here is the one that's furthest away from that line of best fit, and that's my reason that's going to be. So it's not close to the line of best fit, or you could say something along the lines of that it doesn't follow the trend. So then moving on to question 7, it says the distance between two towns is 48 kilometers. 8 kilometers equals 5 miles. Work out the distance between the two towns. So first things first, what we want to work out is how many 8s go into 48. So if I do 48 divided by 8, then that equals 6. So what I then need to do then is multiply that by 5, because I want to then convert that into 5 miles, and 6 times 5 is 30. Then moving on to question 7b, it says that a car travels at an average speed of 20 miles per hour between two towns. Work out the length of time the car takes to travel between the two towns. So here, looking at distance, speed, time, that we know that time equals the distance divided by speed. So looking at this, the distance between the two towns is 30, the speed in which they're travelling is 20, and then all I then need to do is just cancel this down, so it becomes 3 over 2, which hopefully we know is 1.5. So the answer then is going to be 1.5 hours, or you could write it as 1 hour 30 minutes, or you could write it as 90 minutes. But I would say, because they've not given any sort of indication of what units they want, any of those 3 answers would be absolutely fine. Then moving on to question 8, says work out 150% of 36. Well, 50% of 36 is 18. So then I just need to add that to 36, in which if I add those two amounts, I get an answer of 54. Moving on to question 9, it says work out the value of x. Well, what we should know is that angles inside a quadrilateral add up to 360 degrees. So if I add up all of those angles, I've got x plus 3x plus 2x plus 4x. They all add up to 360. So then simplifying all of this, I get 10x equals 360. So then x equals 360 divided by 10, which just gives me an answer of 36 degrees. Then for question 10, all we've got to do is just expand the bracket. So we've got 3 times 2x, which is 6x, and 3 times minus 5, which is minus 15. Moving on to question 11, it says the diagram shows a rectangle. The rectangle is cut in half with one half thrown away, and this is repeated a second time. What is the area of the remaining piece? Well, if we if we cut this rectangle in half, then that means that this length is going to be 20 and this length will remain to be 24, and this is the bit that's been discarded. Then if I split this rectangle in half again, then this length here becomes 12 and this bit here is the bit that's discarded. So the area that's left is going to be 12 times 20, and if I then do 12 times 20 in any which way you want to, but you should get the correct answer of 240, and it's going to be in centimetres squared. Moving on to question 12, again we're solving this double-sided equation, so what you want to do is take away the smallest amount of x from both sides. So if I take away 6x from both sides, I'm left with 2x minus 3 equals 9. I then want to take the 3 over, so I plus 3, in which I get 2x equals 12. I then take the 2 over, so I get 12 divided by 2, which gives me an answer of 6. Then moving on to question 13, it says which of these fractions is the largest? 6 is a fraction of 30, so let's start by writing A. So 6 is a fraction of 30. Now if I go on and simplify that, I get 1/5. Then for B, it's 30 centimetres, a fraction of 2 metres. Well, we need to make sure that the units are the same. So if I'm going to keep it in centimetres, I've got 30. How many centimetres are there in 2 metres? Well, that's going to be 200. Then simplifying this, I get 3 over 20. And then for C, 16 pence of £1. Well, again, keeping the units, and we'll use pence, I get 16 over 100. Now, and again, I could simplify that as 8 over 50 and 4 over 25. Now, when comparing fractions to see which one is the largest, I need to try and get a common denominator. So here, a common denominator between 5, 20 and 25 is going to be 100. So what do I need to multiply 5 to get 100? Well, I need to multiply it by 20. So the top number then is going to be 20. For this fraction, I multiply by 5 over 5. And so that's going to be 15 over 100. And this one has already been converted to me originally. So that's 16 over 100. So which of these is a bigger answer? Well, the correct answer there is going to be A. So moving on to question 14, it says last season a football club sold 4,000 season tickets at £250 each. This season the season ticket price is reduced by 20% to 200. If the club sell 20% more tickets, will the amount of money they receive increase, decrease or stay the same? And we must show our working out. So first of all, let's work out the original income. And to do this, what I'm going to do is use this information here. So it's going to be 4,000 multiplied by 250. So for this, I've got 25 times 4, which is 100. And then if I count the zeros, I've got 3 and another 1, so that's 4. So I just said 1, 2, 3, 4. So then if I look at the new information, well, 20%, well, the number of season tickets has been reduced to £200, so that's going to be like so, but they're selling 20% more tickets. Now 20% of 4,000, well, 10% equals 400, so 20% is going to be double that, which is 800. So the number of tickets is increased, so it's going to be 4,000 plus 800, which is 4,800. So that's how many tickets they've sold. So the new income. So then if I work that out, well, 48 times 2 is 96. And then if I add the zeros, I've got 4 zeros altogether. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So looking at the income, has it gone up or down? Well, it's gone from this number to this number. So it's actually decreased. So the answer then is a decrease, and I can work that out of by £40,000. Moving on to question 15, it says Jane is painting her garden fence whose area is 46 metres square. A tin contains half a litre of paint. The instructions say 1 litre of paint will cover 12 square metres. How many tins does Jane need to buy? So looking at this, there's a couple of ways in which we can do this. Well, if a tin contains half a litre, then half a litre will cover 6 square metres because it's half. So then for this, what I then need to do is just do 46 divided by 6, in which if I use my bus stop method, so how many 6 is going to 4? None, so carry that forward. That then becomes 7, carry the 0, so then remainder is 4, and then it's going to be, remainder is, 4, so that's going to be 2. So 6, remainder 4, and then it's just going to be 6 recurring. So I'm going to need 7.6 recurring tins, which we can't get 0.6 of a tin, so the correct answer is going to be 8. Then moving on to the next question. So here it says that in fact Jane is only able to cover 10 square metres per litre of paint. What is the least number of extra tins that Jane needs to buy? Well, basically looking at this, then it's going to be 5 square metres per half litre tin. So then 46 divided by 5 is going to need 10 tins. So how many more are going to be needed? Well, 10 take away 8 is 2. So you're going to need 2 more tins. Moving on to question 16, it says A, B, C and D, E, F, G are parallel lines. B, E, H is a straight line, and the question is asking us to work out the size of angle X. Well, to work out size of angle X, you can see that these two, as they're parallel, that these two angles here are going to be co-interior. So these two angles add up to equal 180. So X equals 180 minus 25, which gives me an answer of 155. So X equals 155 degrees. Then moving on to question 16b, it says work out the size of angle Y. Well, to work out the size of angle Y, if I go back to my diagram, well, if I know that angle X, this angle here is 155, then I can work out what angle this is going to be, because angles on a straight line add up to 180. So this angle here is going to be 180 minus 155, which equals 25. And I've also noticed that it's a Z angle, so I could have used this, that as this is 25, that's also going to be 25. So then from this I can then work out what angle this is going to be, because angles in a triangle add up to 180. So I've got to do 180 minus 90 minus 25, which gives me an answer of 65 degrees. So then from this I can then work out what angle Y is going to be, and let's use colour that I've not used. So for angle Y, these two angles here are going to add up on a straight line, so they're going to add up to 180. So it's going to be 180 minus 65, which gives me an answer of 115. So the answer for B is 115. Moving on to question 17, it says the table shows information about the times for 100 people to complete a task. The shortest time was 2 minutes and 50 seconds. The shortest time was 2 minutes 50 seconds. Shortest time was 2 minutes 50. Work out the greatest possible range of the times. Well, the biggest possible time is going to be 20 minutes. So I've got to do 20 minutes, take away the shortest time, which is 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And that gives me an answer of 17 minutes and 10 seconds. So I can write that just there. The next question then says, Jack says that the median time is exactly 10 minutes. Give a reason why he must be incorrect. Well, if there are 100 people, then the median person is going to be the 50th person. And the 50th person is going to fall into this group here. Now, obviously, if it falls into that group, it can't equal 10, so therefore Jack is going to be wrong. So the reason we need to write is the median is in the 10 to 15 interval, which can't contain or doesn't contain 10 or less. So something along those lines would be absolutely fine. You could also say that there's more people had to wait, more than half people had to wait more than 10 minutes, so therefore the median can't be 10. So again, that will be a valid reason as well for the mark. Moving on to question 18, it says that a bag contains 20 counters, 19 are blue and 1 is yellow. 2 counters are taken at random. If 2 counters are the same colour, what is the probability that the next counter taken at random is yellow? Well, if they are the same colour, then that means that the first 2 counters must be blue. So therefore, there are 18 counters left. Yellow is still there. Oh, if I can spell it. Is still available. So then the probability is going to be 1 over 18. The next question then says, if 2 counters are different, what is the probability that the next counter taken at random is yellow? Well, if the first 2 counters are different, then that means the yellow is gone. So the probability of selecting another yellow is going to be impossible. So therefore the probability is going to be 0. For the next question, it says list the whole numbers that satisfy both of these inequalities. So for these, to make your life a little bit easier, what you want to try and do is get x by itself. So if I take the 4 over to the other side, I end up with x is less than 4. Then using the other inequality, and if I draw a number line, and I've got -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then represent this in a number line. So I've got circles at 2 and 4. I'm not calling them in because it's can't equal. So the integers that it could be are -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So it's -1, 0, 1, 2. Oh, I'm just writing that a little bit neater. 2 and 3. Then moving on to question 20, it says that a circle has a radius of 4 centimeters. 2 diameters split the circle into 4 sectors as shown. The area of sector A to the area of sector B is in the ratio of 1 to 4. Work out the area of the sector A. Give your answer in terms of pi. Well, if the ratio is in the ratio of 1 to 3, so this is 1 part and this is 3 parts. Now A and C are going to be the same, so that's also going to be 1 part, and D and B are the same because so then that's also going to have 3 parts. So in total, I've got 8 parts. Now in terms of the proportion of A, well, A is 1 part out of 8, and then the area of the circle using pi times r squared, well, the radius is 4, so it's going to be pi times 4 squared, which is 16 pi. So it's going to be 1/8 of 16 pi. Now of in maths means times, and if I convert that into a fraction, then what I end up with is 16 pi on the numerator and 8 at the bottom. Then 16 divided by 8 is 2, so the final answer is going to be 2 pi. Moving on to question 21, it says that y is directly proportional to x. Complete the table. So if y is directly proportional to x, then there's a number that I need to multiply x to get y. So looking at the coordinate they've given me, well, to get from 7 to 63, I need to multiply by 9. And I could have got 9 by dividing 63 by 7. So then to work out this next number, it's going to be 4 times 9, which is 36, and 0 times 9, which is 0. It then says complete the table of values for y equals x squared minus 2x. So for this number here, all I've got to do is substitute x equals -1. So I'm going to end up with -1 squared minus 2 lots of -1. Well, -1 squared is 1, and minus 2 times minus 1 is positive 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Then moving on to our next missing number. So for this one here, swap x equals 2. So it's going to be 2 squared minus 2 lots of 2. Well, 2 squared is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 take away 4 is 0. Then for the final one, I'm substituting x equals 3. So it's going to be 3 squared minus 2 times 3. Well, 3 squared is 9. 2 times 3 is 6. 9 take away 6 is 3. Then for b, all I then need to do is plot those coordinates. So if I just zoom out slowly, just a little bit, we can then spot these. So first coordinate is minus 1, 3, which is there. The next one is 0, 0. At 1, it's at minus 1. At 2, it's at 0. And at 3, it's at 3. So then all that's left for me to do is then join those points up as best that I can, going through each of those points. So it looks something like that. The next question then says, write down the coordinates of the turning point. Well, my turning point is this point here, which is 1, minus 1. Now with question 10, it says, using a ruler and a compass, construct a triangle ABC so that BC is perpendicular to AB and AC is 9 centimeters. So for this, first of all, what we need to do is we need to create a 90-degree angle at B. Now, typically this is not the easiest thing, and this tends to be not covered as well in lessons, but I'll show you hopefully how we do this. So first things first, what you're going to need to do is with a ruler, you want to extend the line AB. So again, you want to make sure that you're using a sharp pencil and a ruler. And so if I just extend that line, it looks something like that. Now the next thing you then want to do is set your compass up. So again, when setting up your compass, you want to make sure you've got a sharpish pencil, and that when you close the compass, you want to make sure that the pin and the pencil are as close as possible. Then what you then want to do is with your compass is you then want to just pick a comfortable length between the pencil and the compass and just draw an arc where it intersects the line AB, and draw a similar arc without adjusting the compass on either side. So then from this, what you've then found is that the B point is the midpoint between these two intersection points. And now what you're going to do is you're going to do a perpendicular bisector between these 2 points. So what you do is with your compass, you mark a distance that's more than halfway. So as you can see, that's what I've done there. And then you just want to draw an arc in the middle. Then without adjusting your compass, you do exactly the same but from the other point. And what you should find is you've now got 2 arcs that intersect at these 2 points. Then with the ruler, what you then want to do is draw your line through these. Now your common sense might be telling you, why can't I just use a protractor? Well, the reason for that is because it doesn't say you can use a protractor in the question. I know it doesn't say you can't use one, but it does say using a compass and ruler. So you want to make sure that you're showing all your perpendicular lines under your arcs, because that acts as you're working out. So I'm just going to mark that angle as a right angle. The next thing that's left for me to do is to look at the line AC, which is 9 centimeters. So with my compass and my ruler, I'm going to try and carefully mark where 9 centimeters is going to be, which is stretching the compass out quite a lot. And I'd say I'm probably happy with that. And then what you then want to do is put the pin on A and draw an arc so it intersects the perpendicular line you've just drawn. So mine is going to be at this point here. So that point there is where C is going to be. And then the only thing that's left for me to do is then with my pencil, which I'm going to do with a pen, just so it comes up clear on the screen, is then join A with C, and I've got my triangle just there. Now I've just noticed that the light isn't great, so if I just hover my hand, hopefully you can see all my construction lines on the screen, so you can see what I've done. And again, a little reminder, do not rub out any of those construction lines, because the marker is going to want to see that you've used a ruler and a compass to construct the triangle ABC. Then moving on to question 24, it says that John is drawing a quadrilateral. The length of each side is 5.2 centimeters to 1 decimal place, and it says complete the error interval of a length of one side. Well, if 1 decimal place is 1/10 of a centimetre. So if I divide that by 2, I get 0.05. So then to work out the error interval, I need to do 5.2 plus or minus 0.05. So if I take away 0.05 from 5.2, I get 5.15. And if I add 0.05 to 5.2, I get 5.25. Then for the last question, it says work out the error interval for the perimeter. Well, for the smallest perimeter, it's going to be 4 times 5.15. And if you think about it in money, so just do 4 lots of £5.15, then we get £20.60. And then the largest perimeter is going to be using the upper bound, which is going to be 4 times 5.25. Well, 5 times 25p is £1, and then 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 plus 1 is 21. So then the error interval is going to be 20.6 and 21. And that's the end of this paper.